네, 안녕하세요. 12시가 돼서 시작하도록 하겠습니다. 어, 이번에 이제 BK21 저희가 New Frontiers of InfraSPHERE라고 해가지고 이제 젊으신 그 학자님들을 모시고 저희가 이제 세미나를 하는 시간을 가지고 있고 저희가 이번 학기에 아마 세 번째 시간입니다. 그래서 김현정 박사님, 지금 서울대 연구교수로 계시는 김현정 박사님을 모시고 저희가 이제 세미나를 듣는 그런 시간을 갖도록 하겠습니다. 자, 발표하실 제목은 여기 보시는 것처럼 How to make sustainable smart cities, 그래서 Planning a predictive city for both old and new cities라는 이제 타이틀이고 발표해 주시면 되고 혹시 뭐 질문 있으시면 나중에 또 질문 Q&A 받는 시간을 갖도록 하겠습니다. 네, 일단 그러면은 일단 시작해 주셔서 감사드리고요. 박수로 환영하겠습니다.
감사합니다. 그럼 시작하겠습니다. 발표 자료가 영어라서 영어로 발표하도록 하겠습니다. Good afternoon to all of you. First, I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak in front of you today. My name is Hyunjung Kim, and I'm a research professor at Seoul National University. Today, I would like to share my idea of making sustainable smart cities for both old and new cities. Before we start the seminar, I would like to introduce my background. When I was young, I had a dream of making the world into a better place, like a Michael Jackson's song. And I thought urban planning can actually make some critical changes in cities. So I studied 3 majors in undergraduate school, including urban environmental engineering, econometrics, and management. Because urban resources are limited and it needs to be estimated, managed, and allocated. In graduate schools, I pursued to study urban planning and engineering, mainly based on spatial information analysis and urban analytics based on big data and geoinformation system. After my PhD, I joined ASRI as a solution engineering manager. As you may know, ASRI have built a lot of international smart cities, including New York, Boston, LA, Abu Dhabi, and Incheon. I was in charge of developing smart city in Korea, and I collaborated with many international engineers, especially with LA and Singapore, which is known best cases smart cities in the world. So based on my field experience, now I'm researching smart city in academia. So today I would like to explain the smart city conceptually and the smart city from the perspective of urban engineering and urban planning through various cases. Interest in smart cities is active around the world. The global smart city market presented strong growth during recent 5 years and expected to grow at a compound annual growth rate around 20% in 2021 to 2026. According to Navigant Research, its revenue expands at an average annual rate of 10.3% from $36.8 billion in 2016 to $88.7 billion in 2025. In Korea, smart cities are one of the national strategic projects. Smart city includes many different concepts such as resilient cities, safe cities, health cities, livable cities, and sustainable cities. No matter how it is called, the goal for these cities are achieving productivity, efficiency, transparency, and collaboration. Then why smart cities is booming? Because people want to make the cities into a better place. Nowadays, cities are suffering from increasing urban problems because of the concentration of urban population and decrease in the working age population. So they need to use of urban resources efficiently, making smart decisions, and need to promote transparency through citizen participation. But the understanding of smart cities in Korea does not know exactly what the smart city is, does not know how to make smart cities, recognizing it as an upgrade or another name of U-City, or just a combination of new technology to new cities. So without planning, they are putting recent hot technologies into city blocks. It seems that the city can be quickly transformed into a smart city if new technology employed in new cities. However, I think setting data foundation and existing source can make the smart city properly and even faster. Smart city that is going on right now is basically in certain districts, mainly for a new city, because the combination and construction of various ICT infrastructure cost a lot in building and maintaining. What they are planning into new cities are smart parking lot, smart trash can, smart something. Is the smart service are exclusive for citizens who live in that smart district? How about citizens in all cities? The goal of smart city is improving the quality of life of citizens. Can we say exclusive service can contribute quality of life of citizens? When the new city and when the new district gets old, do we need to develop another district? Can this be called sustainable? I think this is because of defining smart cities in Korea. The definition of smart city in Korea is based on ubiquitous city, highlighting ICT-based new technology city. However, according to UN's report, we cannot find ICT or technology-based city. In UN's definition, a smart city is predictive city where specific events and incidents can be predicted, resulting in an improved quality of life and enabling citizens to be more informed about the situation. If the information is provided in real time and accurately, cities can potentially take actions before the problem begins to escalate. As many researchers mentioned, U-City project was not successful. It took a long time to implement, and even after the development, it took so many budget to maintain the system. Not to mention that U-City project was only for new city district. Also, the U-City service was not welcoming from the citizens after the construction. I think it is because of the inconsistency between IT and construction industry life cycle. As you know, the life cycle of IT industry is very, very fast. Relatively, the construction industry's life cycle takes long time period. Especially imagine an urban reconstruction starting from land compensation, project financing. It takes at least 10 years to construct a city. The technology planned in the beginning is no longer needed when the construction is done. These are the IT technology tracks that are currently attracting attention, but we know that it will be replaced or changes faster than the construction cycle. The rapid change in technology increases uncertainty in the future, and increasing interdependence and complexity of threats makes increasing the variety of challenges to be prepared in advance. For a predictive and sustainable smart city, we need an urban platform for dynamic data integration and converging various technologies. We need a platform to effectively integrate the latest IT technologies and existing technologies. ICT-based smart city is focusing on certain smart service. They usually put adjective smart in front of a specific noun, like smart something, and consider the combination of these smart service makes a smart city. But while the service currently under construction What if the technology is not needed anymore? What if there is a better technology than current one? What if there is no demand anymore? What if the technology is not working? We don't know what will happen in the future. Think about COVID-19. We cannot anticipate it and cannot make so-called smart COVID-19 service. This kind of urban issues will be happened more frequently in near future, but we cannot make 500 plus different purpose-oriented smart services in advance. If we could use this integrated existing data in flexible way, then we can respond immediately even if the urban issues are not anticipated. I think smart city is not ICT-based or service-oriented city, but supporting smart decision-making through integrated data. The existing problem-solving method is reactive. If there is an urban issue, they discover after the problem occurred. They make an emergency committee and review related data for solving the problem. It will take quite a time to solve the problem, and even if the problem is solved, the solution is limited to a certain problem. Smart decision-making is based on proactive problem solving. When the existing data is integrated, we could find the problematic element and discover it even before the problem occurred. This is an example of integrated existing data. In New York City, spatial temporal big data of taxi was integrated according to the spatial element. We did not know the purpose of this data, but kept integrated and found a certain pattern that is in certain time, the congestion between a certain section was found. As a result, they put public transportation facility between two sections and solved urban problem before it actually happened. Integrated data makes information. Information can make knowledge. Knowledge can make smart decision-making. If we can make data integrated platform, in the end, beyond smart decision-making, a smart city can anticipate and react to the issue. This is an example of real-time monitoring-based smart decision-making. This is a case tapping into dynamic data streams and view this spatially. They can monitor the transportation situation in real time. If an accident occurred, they can respond to a data-driven decision-making. This is an example of learning-based anticipating smart decision-making. This was collaboration with Microsoft. It can make clustering, prediction, and object identification, and eventually site selection, and even prediction. This is an example of learning-based anticipating smart decision-making in Washington, D.C. They can detect cars, pedestrians, buses, and trucks, and in real-time basis, the city can manage and be proactive in urban transportation issues. This is also Washington, D.C. case. They can monitor in real-time basis and even anticipating the accident. In this way, we can make smart decisions in consideration of citizens' opinion. Also, this approach can improve the quality of life of citizens for both old and new cities. To make this platform, we need to make a dynamic and agile data platform, which means we should not collect data for certain service. A platform should be designed in dynamic data integration system and converge data without purpose. After integrate dynamic data platform, the data is open to public. In both private and public sector, they can use and utilize and collaborate the data. For example, policymakers can make a smarter decision in data-driven model. Startups can make a business opportunity with using open data. The collaboration between field workers and executive can be improved. Citizens can check and evaluate the government, and the transparency can be obtained. As a result, the quality of life of citizens for both old and new cities will improve. The integrated GIS urban platform can embrace and converge the rapid changes of dynamic IT, because more than 80% of the information contains spatial element. Based on the spatial element, new technology can be connected to existing data platform. As I mentioned before, a smart city should in cost-saving approach. If we take a look at international cases of smart city based on urban GIS platform, we can find that it is actually reducing management cost and increase productivity and enables efficiency. From now on, let's take a closer look at actual city cases. Successful smart city cases have in common in that, unlike Korea, they do not emphasize new ICT-based technologies. It starts with building an environment that can converge existing information and use it quickly. Singapore and LA are the cities that rank first and second in the smart city indexes. I collaborated with both cities. And in this seminar, we will take a closer look at the case of LA and the case of Incheon, since I was in charge of implementing LA case to Incheon. I think LA's Mayor Eric Gassetti can introduce LA's GeoHub platform way better than me. So let's invite him for 3 minutes.
But with GeoHub today, we're taking it one step further. We're going to connect the data housed in different city departments to develop innovative and more efficient ways to serve the needs of Angelenos. For example, let's take public safety, which is one of my top priorities as mayor. Imagine if police officers, firefighters, emergency workers, and first responders all had access to the city's data for every specific place at any time, anywhere. Public safety personnel could make critical, real-time decisions based on solid map-based data, and GeoHub makes that possible. Let's say a firefighter with an iPad or a mobile device is called to respond to an emergency like an earthquake. Well, thanks to GeoHub, he or she could just pull up more than the 911 data for that call. They could find important facts like building inspection status, location of the nearest fire hydrants, sewer lines, street lights, any information that would make it easier to respond to an emergency. And believe me, I've seen first responders go out there, and it's kind of like, hey, you go over there, try to figure that out, you go over there, look down at the sewer lines, and they're scrambling to do those things that we could maybe have in their palm the moment they arrive. And it's not just applicable to public safety. Our finance department, for instance, can use it to determine areas of the city where economic activity is thriving, to see a heat map of economic activity, and to learn how to best support enterprise in those areas that are doing well and to better support those that are not. Our libraries and parks and recreation department can analyze how people are using their services and deploy resources more effectively. What's better, it's not just city workers that can use GeoHub, it's all of us. Just about anyone from everyday Angelenos, students, researchers, business owners, journalists can benefit from the insight that it puts at our fingertips. So I'm going to walk you through now a little bit of the demo of what we have at GeoHub, which is available, by the way, at geohub.lacity.org. Once you enter the hub, this is the home page, you can search through more than 500 layers of map-based data. And just to distinguish, we've been sharing a lot of data, but those are sort of just normal data sets like you'd see in a spreadsheet. The map-based data is a little bit more complicated and has never been put together like this before. I believe we're the first city, Jack, to be doing this in the world. And so you can look here, and let's take a look at a few of the applications that we have just down here. Now, the layers of map-based data that you see here, the categories that we have, lead us to applications that you can then use, and we put 4 here today. The first is Streetwise, which allows residents, city employees, and private businesses to track permit activity in a proposed construction area. This will allow folks to plan their projects in order to avoid delays. I remember a column, I think that Steve Lopez wrote a number of years ago in the Los Angeles Times that said, you know, how is it that Street Services was repaving a street in front of a school the very day that it opened? They had a whole summer vacation to do it, but suddenly now parents couldn't get their kids to school. They were angry at the city, vice versa, and couldn't there just be one site where everybody shared this information? When I campaigned, I said, let's do that, and now we actually have it. So you can see, as it was clicking through, you can see current work, the number of projects. You can draw the map as far as you want, and you can see the upcoming work as well, so that if the city's about to pave a street, maybe we don't pave it because we see that it's about to be torn up by the cable company or somebody else to lay some lines down, and we can delay it a month or 2. This is now coordinated all together. Another application, speaking of streets, is Road to 2400. My goal of paving a record 2,400 miles of lane miles of streets last year, you can see actually since I came into office June 30th, 2013, this was sped up. It goes actually a little bit slower if you see. This is the number, these are all the streets that we have paved in the last 2 years and 7 months. So you get a sense of, you know, how far and how those record-breaking numbers have actually applied throughout the city and where they've applied as well. Advances like GeoHub are why Los Angeles has been named not just the #1 digital city in America, but also #1 in open data. And that's because we understand that data is the basis of any sound decision, especially ones that matter the most, how to respond in a disaster or how to make our roads safer to travel on. You'll see also maps that help us understand a little bit better, so you can tell a story in essence using data. You'll see things in here where, for instance, population pressure, where population expected to grow and shrink, and then plan infrastructure around that. Households that are above and below the poverty line, et cetera. And each one of these are just examples. It says see more examples here. We have many, many more. So with that.
Okay, so let's move back to the presentation. Can you see this website now? Okay, I just sent you the link of GeoHub through Zoom chatting. Let's check the GeoHub by ourselves as well, okay? As we can see right here, we can check other applications that LA's mayor did not introduce, like CleanStat or social health criteria factors and other informations, right? So as the mayor of LA introduced, most of the information in LA are integrated based on spatial data. With opening this data to public, not only from the government sector, but also in public sector can access all this information, and it actually helped encouraging startups in LA. If the integrated data open to public, it can be checked in many parties and it makes the information more accurate. So even though I emphasized on platform, certain services is needed anyway, right? I want to ask you one question. How many of you are using applications from the public sectors? I guess not really, right? I think an application usually have a better services in private sector, right? it can actually help public sector as well, because the public sector does not have to make all the services under the time and budget constraint. This is how LA is making the city more accurate and collaborative and higher productivity. I just sent you another link for Smart Incheon. Now let's take a look at Incheon case. I actually designed Smart Incheon based on LA GeoHub. Like LA GeoHub, Incheon is providing a lot of information and related applications. If we click here, we can actually check a variety of applications from the government sector, right? Do you think these apps can be made proactively based on urban issues? Imagine how much it will take to make government make applications. As far as I know, it usually takes at least 3 to 6 months to make one application. But in Incheon case, most of the information is already integrated or in integration that it enables to make some sort of services in a short period. For example, if there is too many mosquitoes, then make an app for mosquito for citizens, like this. This map is all reactive basis. So it has variety of informations in this platform. Okay, let's go back to the presentations again. Did the slide, can you see the slide? No? Can you share it again? Can you see the slide now? Yes, okay, thank you. Sorry, there was some kind of problem in sharing. I just said it again. Okay, can you see the page now? Yeah, thank you. So we just passed this because Eric already explained it for you. Sorry, in my computer, the PowerPoint usually does not work properly. Sorry, I'm gonna share it again. Because this presentation contains so many information, so it sometimes does not work properly. I'm terribly sorry. Can you see it right now? No? Okay, thank you. Okay, like LA GeoHub, Incheon's platform was also designed that can be simultaneously manage and utilize data. This is an example of incorporate 3D urban planning. You can see interactive analysis can be done because it can show the 3D aspect of city with the building height information. Evaluation also can be done and check before and after the planning simultaneously. This is an example of 3D-based map link to administrative information, which is in Korean 건축물 대장. So all of this urban information is integrated in 3D form so that every time they want to use it, they can actually use this information. This is 3D virtual city integrated with underground facilities. As you may know, underground facilities are very important to manage because it is linked to safety issues, right? So from this part, it can even anticipate the flood or natural disasters. This is an example of simulation for decision-making with the building and wind data. Okay, some student might think, isn't it just another homepage with some data? But I would say, no, it looks like, but it is not. The key difference is with existing homepage is not that it is not service oriented, but data integrated environment. All of these apps are made, deleted, and reproduced according to the urban issues. You can find the apps in a wide variety of contents, data use, consume, and delete, and reuse again, because the data are integrated in agile system. Finally, I would like to wrap up from the perspective of urban engineering and planning. In civil and environmental engineering, we have many majors. Urban engineering considers planning of urban infrastructures. Under urban information platform, I think all of these majors can be connected in terms of smart cities. Towards sustainable smart cities, we have checked my opinion of the importance of a platform and open data. I think urban information platform is a new type of urban infrastructure. It needs to be planned like any other infrastructure since we have limited source and each city has a different characteristics. Towards sustainable smart city, as a foundation, we need a platform. We don't know what will happen in the future in urban issues, as well as the emergence of new technology. The dynamic integration of urban informations are integrated based on spatial elements. We need to develop an environment rather than specific service. With this platform, we need to predict and be proactive to urban issues and make data-driven smart decisions. When a certain amount of data is gathered on the platform, we need to open data. It makes the data more accurate. It brings collaborations and transparency. It will bring efficiency and cost-saving approaches. It can bring new business opportunity, making the cities more prosperous. Finally, we need planning. A smart city is not a complete project. It needs formative plans. This platform is a new type of urban infrastructure. It needs to planning like other urban infrastructure, such as transportation or water systems. Urban planning for data integration according to urban issues, data integration demands, or collaboration opportunity should be made. That's all for today's presentation. Thank you so much for listening.
네, 좋은 발표해 주셔서 감사드립니다. 네, 혹시 질문 있으신 분들 있으세요? 질문 있으면 몇 개 좀 받도록 하겠습니다. 채팅창에 올려주셔도 되고요. 네. 마이크 켜고 말씀하셔도 되고. 질문 없으세요? 제가 이쪽 전공이 아니어가지고. 질문 없으시면은 여기서 마치도록 하겠습니다. 네. 뭐 혹시 박사님 뭐 마지막으로 하시고 싶은 뭐 코멘트나 뭐 이런 거 있어요?
네, 저는 이게 스마트 도시 공학에 대해서 제가 약간 뭔가 한국의 사례에 대해서 비판하면서 시작을 했지만 제 생각에는 한국에서도 정말 좋은 사례들이 많이 나오고 있고 많은 준비들이 일어나고 있다고 생각을 해요. 근데 제가 이제 현업에서 이제 느꼈고 그거를 이제 아카데미아에 가져와서 연구를 할 때 느끼는 가장 큰 한계는 제가 봤을 때 한국에서는 가장 먼저 이제 스마트 시티를 만들어야 된다. 약간 속도적인 측면에서 굉장히 집중하는 경향이 많다는 게 가장 안타깝게 느껴졌어요. 왜냐하면 아까 발표에서도 설명을 했듯이 스마트 시티라는 거는 완성품이 있어서 그거를 그거를 이제 딱 끝까지 만들어진 완성품이 있는 프로덕트라기보다는 계속해서 만들어내는 과정이고 계속해서 마스터 플래닝이 필요한 개념이라고 저는 생각을 하는데 한국에서는 아무래도 IT 기술이 발전된 나라라고 이제 스스로 생각하고 있고 실제로도 그렇게 발전된 나라이기 때문에 기존 파운데이션을 이제 정하고 그 다음에 어떤 순서로 진행을 해야 될까 라기보다는 이제 현재 가장 유력한 IT 기술을 일단 도시에 케이스별로 하나씩 서비스별로 적용을 해보자라는 측면이 좀 많았던 것 같아요. 근데 앞에서 제가 발표에서 말씀드렸듯이 이 IT 기술이라는 거는 건설 생애주기랑 굉장히 그 속도나 그 사이클 측면에서 다르기 때문에 계속해서 이런 식으로 IT 기술 측면 속도에 맞춰서 그냥 신기술을 이제 도시에 적용하는 방식으로 스마트 시티가 조성이 된다면 지금 현재는 성공한 것처럼 보일 수도 있지만 마지막에 가서는 이제 지속 가능하지 않은 방향일 수도 있다라는 생각이 들었어요. 그래서 그런 내용들을 이제 세미나에 담아서 좀 전달해 드리고자 노력을 해봤습니다.
네, 뭐 저도 사실은 굉장히 이제 전공자는 아니지만 공감되는 부분이 많았고 사실은 이제 우리나라가 이제 IT가 굉장히 발전이 돼 있지 않습니까? 그래서 그거를
네.
바탕으로 이렇게 잘 발전해 나가면은 스마트 시티라는 어쨌든 거대한 흐름이 분명히 있으니까 거기에 대해서
네.
좀 독보적인 존재감을 발휘할 수 있는 그런 역할을 하면 좋을 것 같습니다.
네.
뭐 다른 질문 없으세요? 진짜로? 다들 전공자신 것 같은데 스마트 시티. 없으면은 저희 BK 뉴 프론티어 세미나 세 번째 시간은 여기서 마치도록 하겠습니다. 혹시 이제 궁금하신 점 있으시면 여기 이제 김 박사님 이메일 주소가 이제 얼바니스타라고 딱 돼 있으니까 여기다가 언제든 이메일
네. 이메일
주시면 될
주시면은
것 같습니다. 네.
네, 답변 드리겠습니다.
네, 수고하셨습니다. 감사합니다. 오늘 세미나 해주셔가지고.
네, 감사합니다.
네, 다음에 또
감사합니다.
뵙겠습니다.
네.
감사합니다.